Well, hello everybody. I am Leah from TYFU, and today we are joined by Jacquie Hoyes, an accomplished career development professional with over 25 years of experience spanning Australia's private, public, and non-profit sectors, and even internationally. Jacquie is the founder of Sweet Spotter and is currently serving her second term as the New South Wales Division President of the Career Development Association of Australia, or CDAA for short. Her diverse background includes headhunting, HR consulting, career and executive coaching, and she's especially passionate about simplifying the often complex job hunting process. Today, Jacquie will help us navigate how to find the right career coach or development practitioner and understand what to look for when it comes for proper accreditation. So welcome, Jacquie. Thank you so much for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you, Leah.
Go jump in. Can you tell me what inspired you to pursue career development, and how did it lead you to founding Sweet Spotter? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about Sweet Spotter as well.
Oh, thank you, Leah, and welcome to everyone that have joined us tonight, and those that might see the recording later on. Look, I enjoyed 20 years in HR and focused very much on coaching and mentoring and training, as well as business partnering. But then so that was my second career. My third career, actually, and I'm quite explicit about that. We can have multiple careers in our lifetime. So my third career was in the non-for-profit sector, and that really gave me a heart for helping people even more, even though I did have a heart for helping people. And I knew at that point that I wanted to help people more in terms of discovering their career direction. And that's how it kind of started. And I guess, Sweet Spotter, where did that come from? I love playing tennis and still do when I can. And hitting the ball in the sweet spot is just something that I enjoy in sport. And it kind of felt aligned to what I wanted to do when it came to career. And so helping people find the sweet spot in their career became a reality. And so from there, it kind of grew from there. And it's been 11 years now growing the business.
Congratulations.
Sometimes it's a career portfolio, sometimes it's a hustle, a gig economy, but taking with it all the risks and the rewards. Yeah.
Amazing. Well done for surviving 11 years. That's a long time and hard work to have your own business for sure. Love the name as well. Jacquie, can you tell us, for job seekers, what key areas can a career development practitioner help with that job seekers might not realise?
Look, thank you. And that's a really interesting question, because there's a lot of content out there on LinkedIn, and many people offering, support in the area of career development. I guess what I think the point of difference, actually, what I'll start with first is, there are recruiters, talent acquisition, mentors that are very helpful. I guess the point of difference that I think with a career development practitioner is that we do focus perhaps a bit more on the bigger picture. We look at the past, we look at the present, and we look at the future. And so, if you're a recruiter, often, and I have a good relationship with recruitment, so they will often help you find the next job. And mentors, might do some background stuff. But career development practitioners, our point of difference really is to help an individual either look for a new promotion, look for a job. And yes, there's so much content out there that we kind of bring it together. But I think we are the glue. We're very much the glue, where we are able to refer you back to a talent acquisition or refer you to a recruiter or a mentor. But we're like this glue in your journey, your career journey. yeah, that's where I think that we offer maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to ask Jacquie, so just people would know a career development practitioner helps with sort of resume writing and interview skills. But I think when I first met you, you were also helping with personality testing and stuff. So there's things that you do that people may not realize as well, with like career guidance and helping people early on work out what might be best suited to them. So I think that's amazing as well, and such a valuable resource.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, because of the world that we live in right now, we are mindful of what we present to people, because everyone has a different perspective about what career development is, and career development is still perhaps not on the is not as understandable as perhaps psychology. People feel when they go to see a psychologist, it's stepped out, and career development is still on a journey to explain to people what value it has and how it can help. So it's not just about getting a job. It's not just about resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, interview techniques. Much of it often is about the backstory, or, as you mentioned, personality profiling, like MBTI, Myers-Briggs is a huge part of, often many career coaches use to help people understand who they are before we try and direct people to, well, we don't direct, but how to help people understand where they can go next. Yeah.
So valuable. And can you tell us about the importance of accreditation in career development? How can job seekers verify that a coach or a practitioner is worthy of their money and time?
It's a great question, Leah, and it's something I'm quite passionate about, because there are a lot of people out there, and I'm going to start first before answering specifically. I guess if you were looking for a personal trainer, you'd want to know if they're accredited. If you were seeking a psychologist for whatever reason, you would want to know that they're qualified and accredited. And so with career development, and this is an area that we're still developing in, I believe, because our space kind of sits very closely to psychology. We're in our own lane, like we don't cross over, but we deal with a lot of stuff that can sometimes sit in the psychology space. So it's really important for us to safeguard our clients and make sure that if they are, going through some financial issue or a relationship issue, we are not here to deal with that, but we also need to have opportunities to refer people to the right places. So we are on a journey even more so to safeguard that space, so that people feel really safe when they're talking to a coach or a career development practitioner, and know that they are in a good place. Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of verifying, how can somebody check if somebody has credentials these days? Is it something, do they have to study something, or it's just really it's unregulated at the moment?
If you would be looking at a career development practitioner that is associated with a professional association.
Okay.
So you want to be looking at what qualifications they have. Like, look, back in the day, like I started out in HR 30 years ago, so we didn't have HR degrees back in the day, FYI, and we didn't have career development, qualifications. So I'm probably from that vintage, and we have been accredited over time to catch up or to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I was a job seeker,
yes,
I would be looking at, is someone accredited? What qualifications did they have? And when I say qualifications, I don't mean like degree. I mean, most people these days have an HR degree, or they might have a career development degree, which is starting to happen more as we evolve. But I would look at where they're associated with. And to give another example, if I was an accountant, which I'm not with numbers, but if I was an accountant, I would be registered with the accountancy certified accountancy of Australia, so CPA Institute, sorry. And so, you know, you want to look at where they're associated and not just take on rogue traders that perhaps are trying to just, I don't know, look for your business. Yeah.
Okay, so they should have some sort of association. So something like the CDAA or like an association like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, good to know. And with so many, you know, career coaches and resume writers and stuff out there, what qualities should job seekers look for when they're trying to select the right person for them?
You know, one of the biggest things that I've ever believed in is like there needs to be a chemistry. And again, I will liken it to a psychology engagement. If I was to see a psychologist, which I do 3 times a year, I believe in psychology, just like we see GP a couple of times a year for more physical health. And for career health, you know, you want to check in with the right people. I do think that seeing a career practitioner, some of the things that you need to look for is that you feel comfortable with that person. You know, you're opening up some personal things of your life, just like you do with psychology. And even a GP, like not recently, I mean, quite recently, I saw a GP and it was nothing to do with a physical thing. It was more of a psychological thing. It was just like, blah, 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 you know,
Right.
and all of that stuff, gets linked to different areas.
Yeah.
So I think chemistry is really important. But tracking back to what we've said before, you know, I still believe that people need to look for career coaches that are accredited, qualified. As you know, I'm the New South Wales President for Career Development, CDAA Career Development Association of Australia. And so I feel safe.
Yes.
Personally, also, I feel safe when I know that if I'm going to recommend someone, and I'm not always the right person for someone, so I do recommend clients to or job seekers to other people. So, I'm not sure if we're the right fit. And so I think chemistry is incredibly important. Accreditation, qualified, and associated with an association. Outside of that, I just think there's a lot of rogue traders, and I think be careful of that.
Yeah. And just speaking of the rogue traders, so any red flags to be aware of, do you think with these rogue traders, how to spot them easily?
Yeah, good question. One of the things well, you know, when we do a full assessment with job seekers, new clients, especially in my practice, I look at the past, the present, and the future, and it's a timeline. And that's a timeline that we can control because we're looking at someone's past and thought about the past, present, and future. I just think especially with online, there's a lot of people getting kind of beguiled.
Yes, okay.
By resume writers, and they're charging like $500 or more, and they know nothing about the person, and it's just a reformat of a resume. So, you know, I don't mind saying that online because I have a real passion for, it's not just a passion, it's my integrity. You need to get to know a person. You need to know their backstory. And, you know, I'm a journalist. I was trained as a journalist by background and have a communications background. So, I could have done that for a living, but that there's no humanity in that for me in terms of really engaging that client, because it's not just about a job.
Yeah.
And that's probably where the tension lies for career development as well, where we care about people so much.
Mm.
And we probably go beyond the call of duty, but that's okay as well. It's
Yeah.
about making sure that people are valued.
Yes. And I just wanted to ask, is there a guideline anyway? Does CDAA have this a guideline on how much a resume writer should charge, or do you have any advice on how somebody can get a guide on what they should be paying for some interview help or a personality test? Is there somewhere they can gauge that?
Look, there is no kind of benchmark.
Yeah.
I should say there are benchmarks. No, there's no official gauge. I do a lot of work in the New South Wales public sector, and they have very definite kind of guidelines and in procedure when it comes to that. But when it comes to private work, it does come down to collegiate kind of experience. And there's a camp that fits within an association, and then there's often quite a bigger camp that sits outside of the association.
Yep.
And so, no, to answer your question succinctly, there's no gauge.
Okay.
I can't put a price on it because I personally don't just do a resume review. That's not part of my value proposition. I need to get to know, like a psychology, and as I mentioned, I see a therapist 3 times a year just to stay on track and encourage it for all humanity. But imagine if I went to the therapist the first time and said, I've got this problem, can you fix it? And, wave a magic wand. I love it.
It does look like a magic wand.
I got this from the Australian ballet, but it was like wave a magic wand and go, ta-da, and all your problems are fixed. Like, it doesn't just happen like that. And so it's more than a one-off. And so the red flag for me is if someone wants a one-off, and I don't want online international people coming at me, that a one-off to me is not great value, is what I'd say.
Okay, could be a red flag. Thank you. And if anybody watching has a question, please just pop your name into the chat and you can definitely ask Jacquie while we've got her. And Jacquie, any tips for somebody who has engaged a career development practitioner to make the most out of it? Do you think plan before your sessions, or any advice that you've got?
100%. I really believe in job seeker or client to do as much as they can in between session. It's about being proactive. It's like in coaching to training, or it's like homework. So I give homework to my clients after session, unless there's no homework required. We don't just make it up. But if we get to end of session and it's like, okay, well, these are the things that we can work on, or you can work on, and let's look at it next time. And so the more that clients can do in between session is really helpful, because in session together time is really powerful for troubleshooting, debriefing. There's a whole range of being creative. What you don't want to do is do your homework in the session.
Right.
Well, cost is a factor. We're all trying to be mindful of our cost. We live in a good economy here in Australia, but we also have to be mindful of our pennies. Yes. Not pennies anymore, but you know what I mean.
So definitely make sure that you're using the session for the nuts and bolts of what you want to do, and do the homework and be prepared outside of that.
Yeah,
Really great.
100%.
Yeah. We do have a question from Susan. Do you have preferred assessments that you use with your clients outside of MBTI?
That is a really great question. Thank you, Susan, because I've only been just talking about that today with a colleague. I am a big fan of MBTI. I do like MBTI, and maybe I like it because I've used it so much, but I am adaptable and I'm not wedded, if that makes sense. I'm not wedded, but I'm also not jumping to the next greatest thing, because often the different things come to the same outcome. I don't think we need to keep reinventing the wheel. I do also like strength finders. So strength finders has been another tool that I've used and still use and enjoy that. But for different, and again, it's how you implement it, because we can implement these tools and it's an extra cost to clients. But what we can also do as practitioners is also use part of it safely in the career conversation without charging a client, $500 or $1,000 extra for completing that assessment. So there's a number of, there's DISC, there's Strength Finders, there's MBTI, and the list goes on.
Okay, but they're probably your favorite would be Strength Finders and MBTI.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And Jacquie, can we just touch quickly on CDAA, so the Career Development Association of Australia. So you've served on their board, and I'd just love you to just in a nutshell tell us what they do and what advancements you hope to see in the field of career development with your current position. It's a big question.
Yeah, no, it's good. Look, I've served for, I think it's 5 years on I joined as a general committee member, served for 5 years, general committee member, and then as a New South Wales president. I serve the position, it doesn't serve me. I'm always very clear about that. Having come from an NGO background, it's always good to remember that. Look, our association helps safeguard what we do. And there are benefits, like when people join, there's an insurance benefit, like we have an aggregated insurance benefit, and there's a collegiate kind of environment that we get to appreciate. It's very strong on professional development, but I would say the overarching benefit is ethical practice, integrity, making sure that we are bolstering career development in Australia to the best of our ability. And so I think there are times where, we want to do more, but we have to look after our people and make sure that they look after clients and people that are being serviced by credible career development practitioners. So it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to serve this committee and our association. And I would encourage anyone that's listening tonight to check us out. And any other association, like there are some school and tertiary professional associations that I would encourage you to go and check out people and practitioners that have an association that are being kept accountable. There's labour market insights that we look at. There are a whole range, ethical practice we look at to make sure that we keep us safe, like practitioners safe, as well as keeping clients safe. And that's a very important part of my personal practice, is to make sure that people are safe when we're speaking into their lives. And it's not just again, a transaction like resume, cover letter, LinkedIn. Actually, you know, we're being privileged to have a small time in people's lives, and I think it's really important that we take that really seriously, and I personally do, and I know our association does as well.
Yeah, no, and I think job seekers and we should all be very grateful that like CDAA exists and is doing its bit to keep this ethical and transparent for everybody. So thank you for all the work you do. And I think it's really important that we spread the word to job seekers to make sure that they are looking for practitioners who do have these accreditations. So very important. And Jacquie, thank you so much for jumping on tonight and sharing all of your insights with us. I think we've covered a lot and really quickly as well. So thank you. We really appreciate it and look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Thank you, Leah, and thank you to everyone that came along.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Cheers.